This is a stimulus update and daily news report. Democrats are pushing for a vote today, Friday, for both the infrastructure and Build Back Better plan. Meanwhile, Nancy Pelosi has other plans. I'll let you know what Nancy Pelosi said. I'll also play you another video clip interview from Joe Manchin talking about it being drilled by MSNBC and Pramila Jayapal's response to Joe Manchin. Also, we'll go over this article right here. Ford stimulus check up to $15,000 approved. Read the truth here. And then another one right here. Stimulus checks pave the way for these cities and states to offer $12,000 in universal basic income is yours one, and I'll give you some other important updates as well. Hope you're having a fantastic Friday. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below. So I just wanted to give a reminder in case you missed it the other day. IRS issues another 430,000 refunds for adjustment related to unemployment compensation. So these are the $10,200 unemployment compensation for anyone who paid taxes on money that they got from unemployment that they shouldn't have paid taxes on. So basically about 519,000 tax returns were the latest ones, and 430,000 will be receiving funds of around $1,189. So those should be going out. You should expect those. Next, let's talk about the fourth stimulus check article right here. So fourth stimulus check up to $15,000 approved. Read the truth here. There's another headline right here. Rumor of fourth stimulus check for $15,000 gains steam online. Where is this coming from? So basically, it gives a source right here, basically saying that the claim purports to reveal that there will be a fourth stimulus check worth at least $15,000 and handed out in clusters of several $1,000s each. Unfortunately, the claim that's being spread thanks to sources like LA Late Show, YouTube channel, is completely false. The channel has more than 400,000 subscribers, so it's easy to see why this is fake news of a fourth stimulus check up to $15,000 spread so quickly. So let me know down in the comments below, have you heard these rumors about a $15,000 stimulus check? I don't watch that channel, so I'm not too familiar with it, but have you heard of it? Let me know your thoughts on that down in the comments below. Also, this other article right here, stimulus checks pave the way for these cities and states to offer $12,000 in universal basic income is yours one. So basically, it's going over the stimulus checks that went out here and then universal basic income program. So Pittsburgh is using COVID funding from the federal government to give 200 households $500 per month for 2 years. At the end of the 2 years, each family will be given $12,000. So that's where the $12,000 comes from, universal basic income. Also in Columbia, South Carolina, 100 low-income fathers were given debit cards with $500. That's per month for 11 months. And then Chicago is starting their own UBI program, Universal Basic Income Program, for households that earn under $35,000 per year. They will get $500 monthly payments, and this is going to 5,000 families. Then also Los Angeles offering UBI programs to low-income employees. 3,200 randomly chosen qualifying families will receive $1,000 per month for 1 year. So those are all the different families that are different programs that are getting universal basic income. Let me fix my camera. I got to get a new tripod. It's on the to-do list. So when it comes to I'm just going to hold it for a moment just so I can finish this one clip. When it comes to a fourth stimulus check, the Change.org petition, currently $2,000 per month to every American, is at 2,949,000 signatures so far, and still no mention of a fourth stimulus check in any package. When it comes to the big package, Nancy Pelosi amps up domestic agenda pressure campaign, pressing Friday votes. So mainly it's the Democrats who are pushing for a vote. Nancy Pelosi not really doing much there. So the House will reconvene Friday morning with plans to vote on both a party-line $1.75 trillion and Biden's Senate-passed infrastructure bill. Will it happen? Not sure, because there's someone who is kind of against those bills. I'll go over that in a moment. But Pelosi says Democrats proceeding with Biden's spending bill, but no update on vote timing. So yeah, a lot of them are saying that there's going to be a vote today, Friday, but it's kind of like the boy who cried wolf. We've heard it so many times that today's a vote, tomorrow's a vote, next week's a vote, this is the week. I don't know how many times we're going to hear that until we realize that it doesn't really it's not really true. So anyways, here is Senator Joe Manchin being drilled on MSNBC. Check this out.
Democratic Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia. Senator, it's great to have you on.
Thanks for having me, Mika.
Let's get right to it. Many top Senate Democrats are warning the loss in the Virginia governor's race proves the party needs to pass President Biden's agenda as soon as possible. Take a listen to this.
Congressional Dems heard Terry McAuliffe. We had been able to deliver infrastructure and reconciliation in mid-October. He could have sold universal pre-K, affordable child care, infrastructure, creating jobs.
Terry McAuliffe has been saying for weeks that his fate was tied to the progress of negotiations here on Capitol Hill, and there ought to be a clear message to my party and all those who support it to get the job done.
Congress has to deliver. We need to get it done, and as one who will be running for re-election in 2022, I need results that I can show the American people.
Senator, are your colleagues wrong in their assessment?
No, we should have gotten something done, Mika. We had the USICA bill, which is a China compete bill. We passed with about 90 Democrats and Republicans from the Senate. It's been sitting in the House for quite some time. That's $250 billion, tremendous amount of research and technology to compete with China because we're standing still while China's moving forward. We have a $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill, which truly for 8 to 10 years will rebuild America. We've let that go on for 30 years and we haven't done a thing, Mika. I agree with my colleagues. We should have gotten those two done. They're both sitting over in the House. But to have these bills being held hostage when we have a much larger bill that we need to work on, we just need to work in good faith. So I don't know why we couldn't pass or why the House members couldn't pass the two bills they've been sitting on for quite some time. And then let's sit down and work through. Let's get a CBO score. I think what the election showed us, Mika, was basically people are concerned. They're concerned about inflation. They're concerned about the debt. No, we don't talk about it, but they are concerned. I can tell you back home in West Virginia, gas prices are enormous. People are having a hard time driving to work and paying $20 or $30 more to fill up. They're going to the grocery stores and getting 30% less. They're about ready to face a very bad winter. We're told at much higher prices. So yes, I think we should be upfront, honest, and transparent with American people and do what we can afford to do.
So you've just described the realities surrounding exactly why these bills need to get through. What is it? I've got a checklist here. I'll write it down. What is it going to take to get to yes?
Well, to get to yes is first to find out what the real cost is, what we're talking about. We're using 10 years of revenue to basically supply 1 or 2 or 5 or 6 years of services. And that's not the true cost. The true cost would be 10 years to 10 years. So if you have 10 years of revenue, then you would think that if we put a program in place, that program would last 10 years too. This all needs to come forward, and we need to have a CBO score. The Congressional Budget Office truly puts a score to this. But Mika, the only thing I would say is the rush to this, and I've said this long before, I truly believe that we need to slow down. I truly believe that we need to wait and see if inflation is transitory. See how much worse it may get. Hopefully it doesn't. People are saying both. So I'm willing to work through it. I've told my colleagues, they all know where I stand. I've been trying to be as transparent as humanly possible on the things that we all agree on. And when we have such a divided Congress in the House and the Senate, and I think the votes in Virginia and also in New Jersey showed how divided we are, Mika.
Okay, but you talk about cost, and I know there's different sets of time that could be debated, but you agreed to $1.75 trillion, yes?
Sure. 1.75. The president and I came to an agreement on 1.75. I was working on 1.5, as you know, and I felt very strongly about that. The president was working very hard, and we had good conversations, we had good dialogue, and we had good negotiations. Okay. That's what it's all about.
Okay, so what needs to be in there? What needs to be in there, or what needs to be out of there?
Well, let me tell you the things that we can agree on, that we have agreed on. Child care. We agreed on child care. We've agreed on pre-K 3 and 4. We agreed on in-home services. We agree on basically climate bill that basically uses technology, not just eliminating certain fuels, but technology to use them cleaner so the world will use them cleaner. Because the world is using more fossil than ever before. And if the United States of America doesn't find a pathway forward and a breakthrough in technology, then the the world will get much worse because 90% of pollution will come from Asia, which is going to be really from China. China has 3,000 coal-fired plants. We have 500. And my environmental friends will make you believe that the 500, and they're the cleanest ones in the world, the 500 are polluting the whole world. They're just not being accurate.
So there are reports that the House is putting back in paid family leave. Is that a deal breaker for you?
Well, there's so many things that they're throwing back in because that's their constituent. I mean, they have a caucus over there, and they should basically work their bills as they see fit. I don't begrudge anybody for doing that, but they shouldn't begrudge me for saying this is not the right place for this piece of legislation. I believe in family leave. I believe people should have that opportunity. But I've seen states that have already done it in America. I've seen countries around the world that have already done it. Can't we find a better position for this and do this in a bipartisan and in a process that works? Because here's what we're talking. We're talking about unpaid family leave now. That's going to add an awful lot to the debt that we already have at $29 trillion. They talk about Medicare expansion. I would love to be able to expand Medicare if we had our financial house in order. But when you have a report from the CBO that you're going to be basically insolvent in Medicare by 2026, and you want me to add more on to it that'll make it insolvent quicker? I've got people in West Virginia, Mika, that's their lifeline. Their lifeline is Social Security and Medicare, and I'm doing everything I can in my power to protect it and get those on solid financial grounds so people can depend on it. Then we can expand.
Willie.
Good morning, Senator. It's Willie Geist. Want to drill down a little bit more on paid family leave. I'm doing well, thank you. Speaker Pelosi yesterday again said this is going to be in the bill. Paid family leave will be in the bill. The proposal we're hearing at NBC News is for 4 weeks. President Biden on the campaign trail in 2020 made this a central promise of his campaign. We're going to get paid family and medical leave. So can you explain what you mean when you talk about this? Are you saying that it's important, but it should be its own piece of legislation, or are you saying that you object to it altogether?
No, I do not object to it at all as far as the concept of paid family leave. People should be able to have family leave as they need it, but also we should be paying into it from, same as we do Social Security. It's employer-employee participation. I'm talking to my Republican colleagues and friends and my Democrats. We can work a piece of bill out in a regular process that doesn't put a burden on taxpayers, doesn't put a burden and also more debt. Because when you start the programs, you never stop them. You just don't. And we're trying to get something that's sustainable. Willie, let me tell you, anytime we do something through reconciliation, it's done only by one party. The Senate was not designed to work off of just partisan politics. The Senate was designed to work off of bipartisan politics. And when you do bipartisan, that's what's made us the most stable country in the world. We don't flip back and forth every time somebody changes power. But what happens now when you do reconciliation, the next time there's a power switch and Republicans would have control, they're going to switch back the same as we're switching the tax code. There wasn't a Democrat. One thing we all agreed on, Willie, there wasn't a Democrat that voted in favor of the 2017 tax cuts, which we thought were weighted to the high-end earners. Let's fix that. We're talking about everything but how we really fix truly the tax code that gives and puts our country back on a trajectory that we can be responsible with our debt and manage our debt. That's all I've been saying.
What are your thoughts on what Joe Manchin has to say? You got to admit it, whether you like him or don't, he's pretty upfront. He does say where he stands. It's kind of the Democrats are trying to sway him, but he is a rock. He's not moving. He's not budging on where he stands and what his philosophy is, where his beliefs are. Let me know your thoughts on that. So activists swarm Joe Manchin's Maserati as he tries to leave parking garage. So I'm going to play this clip right here. I'm not going to play the sound, but yeah, basically when he was leaving his houseboat in Washington, D.C., a bunch of activists came by and he was trying to leave his Maserati. You could see them banging. If you're not familiar, Maseratis here, they're almost $200,000 for the car. So have activists gone too far? I showed another video clip from Kirsten Sinema at a wedding, and a bunch of activists were outside. The mother was crying. The bride was crying. Have activists gone too far? Let me know your thoughts on that. Next up is a video clip from Pramila Jayapal talking more about the big package.
Chair of the Congressional Progressive Caucus and senior whip of the Democratic Caucus, Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal of Washington State. Okay, first of all, he wants to understand a full accounting of everything, the size, the scope, the cost, and wants to take the time to do that. What's wrong with that? What's your response to what the senator said?
Yeah, Mika, it's great to see you and be in person. Look, he actually negotiated this deal with the White House. It was to his parameters. He will get a full Congressional Budget Office score before the legislation goes to the parliamentarian. That will happen. And we know that there's more than enough money because there's revenue raisers in here that have already been scored. A lot of the
So you're giving him a framework of what he expects? Is there any possibility you're moving the goalpost, adding things back in?
Well, I think yesterday the Speaker announced that she was adding in paid leave. That is something that Senator Manchin has not agreed to. And, you know, look, I think that when we pass it in the House, it'll then go to what's called a parliamentarian scrub. And things will be taken out if they don't meet the parliamentary procedures and rules.
Okay, but you know that he won't accept that.
Yes, and that was the Speaker's decision because I think really because millions of women across the country are outraged that one man would say we're not going to do paid leave. And so I understand that piece is there, but the rest of this has been negotiated, and it's been negotiated with the senator. And I've been trying. Look, he's a good man. We've had many meetings. I've been trying not to point fingers here. Let's just get these two bills done. We're going to do our work in the House, and then we're going to trust the president that he's going to get 51 votes in the Senate. Is to give them paid leave so that women who have been pushed out can get back to work. To give them universal child care, universal pre-K, lower the cost of prescription drugs.
Okay, so some of that's in there.
Yeah.
And then some of what you're saying, while I agree with it as a woman in America wholeheartedly, you're saying things that aren't going to get us to go.
Yes. Well, paid leave, I'm going to set aside because we endorsed the framework as the White House announced it, as the president announced it, and we actually said we will go with this framework. And the Speaker made the decision to put paid leave in. We fully support it, but that's a piece that we have to work through. Everything else, Mika, has been negotiated.
That is all the stimulus news I have for you today to hopefully brighten your day a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, this is Bella. This is the tip of the day. I want to tell you something that you should always do. Sometimes just sit on your bed or sit at a table on your counter and sit down and take 10 breaths. Breathe in and breathe out because you need yourself to feel relaxed. And that's all I wanted to tell you for today. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm bending lower and lower. It seems that this tripod has given me trouble over the past week. I'm gonna try to buy a new one or something like that. But thanks for sticking with me and appreciate all of your support. Hope you have an amazing weekend and you do some fun stuff. Anyways, if you want to check out any of my other videos, you could click up here or down here, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching. Really bending down low now. Oh, yep, it's gonna collapse.